Shalom Aleichem and welcome to Online Smicha. The 3 weeks between Shiva Asar B'Tammuz and Tisha B'Av are called the Bein HaMetzarim. Many halachas apply on those days where the Yiddish mindset is to think about the Beis HaMikdash, think about the Churban Beis HaMikdash, and remember and feel what we miss, what we're hoping to get very, very soon, back very soon. Now, the halachas are mentioned in Shulchan Aruch. There are the common one, the obvious ones that people know. Perhaps we're going to talk about two halachas, one to be a little meko and one to be a little machmir, that are not common, that people don't read about. So in Siman Tov Kuf Nun Aleph, it speaks about the Shavua Shechol Tisha B'Av, the week of Tisha B'Av, where the intensity of the Avelus, the mourning on the Beis HaMikdash, is strict, very strict. So certain halachas go into strong priority. So in the Mechaber, he says about washing clothing, that we know that washing clothing during the 9 days is an issue. So I want to quote to you a Shari Tshuva. A Shari Tshuva, Ois Sifkatan Zayin. So he brings from a sefer that says, if somebody wants, says the koibeses big day peshton erev reish chodesh. If somebody is going to give clothing to a laundromat, to somebody to wash the clothes, but he's doing it erev reish chodesh, there's enough time to get it done. Shatishra oisam boy bayoim b'mayim. So the cleaning lady or the one doing the laundry on Erev Reish Chodesh could already start soaking the clothing in water, but the job won't get done because you're doing it the last moment. So it's getting wet, it's soaking in the water. But the finish, the grand finale of washing and cleaning the clothes will enter into the 9 days. Says the Shari Tshuva, if she's washing it, soaking it in Erev Reish Chodesh, and once the 9 days start, once Reish Chodesh starts, that's when she's going to add the soap and whatever chemicals they do to clean the clothes, keminig as it's customary, v'akol b'bayis Yisrael, and everything is done in your home. Says the Shari Tshuva, Afal gav the Medina yesh lahater, even though, hey, you gave it in there, it started Erev Reish Chodesh. So min hadin, it doesn't look like it's a big problem. Mikol mokim, nevertheless, nochen lizor gam bazeh, it's best if you try not to do this, even to start it the last moment, because li yoyse bebeis Yisrael, since it's not being done in the laundromat, since we're talking about a case where it's being done in your house, and there is an issue of maras ayin that people could see, and people might think you're washing the clothing in the 9 days. So therefore, it's actually brought in Svarim, even though that we know that many halachas to wash the clothes for kids that have to be changed very often, there are different ways, there are leeways in this halacha. So yet, if somebody is doing it for an adult, where you have to be machmir not to wash clothing in the 9 days, so the same thing would be having a washing machine running. Washing machine or dryer, as the Achreinim speak, if you're going to do it in the last moment, according to the Shari Tshuva, it shouldn't be done mamish to the last minute, because as long as it's done in your house, there is some form of maras ayin. That's one halacha I wanted to point out. So we should think ahead and try to do it, not leave things in the last minute. Then there is another interesting halacha, and that is about, we know all the things what you're not allowed to do in the 9 days. You're not allowed to do anything like in Siv Beis, the Mechaber says you're not allowed to build a binyan shel simcha, something, a structure, a building that will create happiness. You're not allowed to build something special. But then he also says, Netiyah shel simcha. You're not allowed to do planting if the planting brings simcha. And the example the Mechaber brings is you're planting like they have those huts that with flowers, that people go there for shade. Because it's all for simcha, you should not be able to You should not be able to do this during the 9 days. So the question becomes, how about a regular person that has his own house, just the lawn is overgrown, there's a lot of grass, may he mow the lawn during the 9 days? So actually what I find is a shtickle difference between a Rav and a Talmud here. I see that the River Veis Ephraim, Rabbi Ephraim Greenblatt, he said that just like the Mechaber, when the Mechaber says what's not allowed to be done, he says, and the Tia Shel Simcha. So we're talking about specifically cases of flowers, to make flowers and to make a garden look beautiful. That should not be done during the 9 days. However, if you're just weeding the grass, you're taking out the bad grass, that's not called. And his chiddush is, the halacha says you're not allowed to have a natiyah shel simcha. You're not allowed to plant something that will cause happiness. Whereas to take out the bad grass, to weed the ground, that he says is not a problem. That's from Shalos Teshuvas River Veis Ephraim. Shalos Teshuvas River Veis Ephraim, Chelek Aleph, Siman Shin Ayin Dalid. Yet, I saw in a sefer that Rav Moshe Feinstein was asked this question. May you mow a lawn during the 9 days? Because after all, in the Shulchan Aruch it said only something that creates a happiness. And if it's not creating a great simcha, you're just cleaning up, you're just cutting the grass, it shouldn't be a problem. And Rav Moshe Feinstein actually paskined, if it's not an atiyah shel simcha, it's allowed. If you're just mowing the lawn, it's allowed. Not only that, he actually says even to plant flowers in your backyard, in your own home, is also allowed. Why? Because after all, when you're planting the flowers, you don't see the simcha. It takes time for it to look nice. And therefore, the little simcha that you have, feel satisfaction that, I planted something nice in my garden, doesn't create enough simcha to break the avelus of the 9 days. V'haraya, says Rav Moshe, because the fact is, you see, not every simcha is usher. Specific simchas are usher. On the tiyah shel simcha will be usher. However, even Rav Moshe says, if somebody has a beautiful garden, all beautiful landscaped and nice, and the beauty is there now, then to plant or to deal with a garden like that would be a problem to be done in the 9 days.